but yesterday I think, okay, I will skip the day and I will do that tomorrow. So today I will water my plant, whatever happens.
Well,
But
normally,
but the rain,
yeah, when you say um, short of water, we need water. We call it a water shortage. Yeah.
okay, water shortage.
But often we call it a drought, and then we have a hose pipe ban. Normally, nobody says in the UK you can't water your plants. What they say is you can't switch your hose pipe on. And oh, you weren't here in last night's session. I had a terrible occurrence this week. Not yesterday, the day before. I heard this funny noise actually in the sink. I thought I was hearing things. It was like something was gurgling in the sink, and I was like, "What the?" And rushing and whooshing, and I don't know. It was weird. So I stuck my head in the sink. I was trying to figure out what it was. I couldn't figure it out. So I thought, well, maybe it's something from the neighbours because we're directly next to our neighbours. Anyhow, a little bit later, luckily not too much later, I went out. I can't remember why. I think it was to let Leica out or to bring some washing in. I don't know. And I suddenly realised under our carport was completely covered in water. I mean, it was like just... And then I noticed that the hose pipe was like swinging around with all this water squirting out of it. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So I had to rush in. I got soaked by this hose pipe and turned it off at the outside tap. And I could not figure out what had gone wrong. And it was only later we worked out that the heat had expanded the water in the hose pipe, that the end of the hose pipe had sort of burst off. And because the tap was on, the water just came straight out. So I hope I wouldn't get into trouble for that. It was an accident, but yeah, it was... Oh, I got so wet, guys. I was drenched.
It was
What do you mean,
boiling water
rats?
then.
No, it was cold
Maybe
water, yeah. But the
uh,
heat had obviously
yeah, because of
expanded
the
the
heat.
water. Yeah. Yeah, but by the time all the
The heat,
water had squirted out,
yeah,
the hot water had
yeah, and
gone.
it come hot. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
it
mean
was just,
maybe there is
wow.
a rat in the pipe.
Oh, a rat in the pipe. All right. Got you. No, I mean, I thought maybe hubby had watered. I mean, silly me. No way. I thought hubby might have watered the garden on his way out that morning and forgotten to switch it off. But no, it had literally I'm not sure, the sprinkler that controls it at the sort of business end of the hose pipe had literally just popped right off. Just pop. So, Shiny, what's the weather like where you are? Are you also suffering in the heat?
Not actually, because I live on the mountain, so I mean the temperature in the center of the city is very high, but because I live on the mountain, so the temperature is a little bit lower than
Okay, so
uh,
this is a problem with living in a city. Certainly, if you go to the city centre in Frankfurt, it's boiling. We're in the suburbs, so it's not that hot. Oscar was saying yesterday that at 10 o'clock at night in Madrid, it's 35 degrees. Can you imagine? That's just horrible, horrible temperatures. That's at night. Aw. But it's not as bad as it was today, as April said. It's not as hot. And at some point yesterday, it did actually have a little bit of rain, but not much. It was just a little shower. But you could hear the garden soaking it up, going... Okay, so
No, we
yeah.
didn't have that rain. In small places, minimal places, there was a little rain, but not a lot. But here in my place, no, only dark clouds. And I think, okay, wait a minute, wait 15 minutes, because now it's only 5 o'clock. Wait until 5, a quarter past 5, because I know my son will come home around that hour. Well, otherwise, but then the the black the gray clouds went away, was blown away, I think. But it was windy yesterday. It was windy also. And then since then, no clouds anymore until now.
Yeah, I mean, it is very parched. The earth is very parched at the moment. And lots of people are going down to the open air swimming pools and the lakes, and just to try, and it's the only way you can really cool off, because, well, unless you go into maybe university library or the museum where they've got air conditioning. I'm sure they're getting lots and lots of visitors at the museum because they've got brand new air conditioning system. So everybody will be paying to go there to cool down. Okay, so I hope you can see the picture in front of you. And that's just as a reminder of what the vocabulary challenge was for vocabulary challenge 65, in case you'd forgotten. Okay, do you remember it, April? Does it bring back memories?
The beach.
Yes.
About the beach.
That's right, yeah. And I loved the way you wrote your story, by the way, that you made it. It was a picture of you at the beach. And you had a day at the beach. Oh, bear with me 1 second. I'll be right back. Shiny, can you see the picture, Shiny?
Yes, I can see it now.
And have you got access to the text from April as well, Shiny?
Yes.
Excellent. Good, good, good. Okay, so obviously, again, I haven't got round to correcting them yet. They will be corrected at some point, but I thought we could discuss April's, as Alex isn't here. And really, April, it's practically perfect. So, and I love the way you used, you emboldened some of the words. Was that because you thought they were part of the vocabulary, or did you want, were you not sure?
Yeah, that is what I see in the picture.
Okay.
The vocabulary of the items or the stuff in the picture.
Okay, so what I suggest, because it'll help me, if you, April, start reading it out loud, and as you're reading it, I will make some corrections in the text. Let me just, oh, hang on, no, that's not how I want to do it. Hang on. So, okay, so April, if you'd like to start reading, read the first up to protect our skin, okay?
Up to where, Lynn?
You, in this, it's not quite in paragraphs, so it's a bit difficult to say, but what would be the second paragraph, if it was a paragraph, the last sentence, to protect our skin, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Okay. On the beach. It was summer. The sun was shining and we had a day off, so we went to the beach. There were a lot of people there, but we arrived early and we could find a good place near the water and put our stuff there. What did we bring there? We had our swimming suits, a beach chair, diving goggles, a snorkel, a pair of flippers, and an inflatable bed for our water activities. We didn't forget our hat and our cap to protect our face from the scorching sun. To protect our skin, we brought sun milk too.
Okay, so Shiny, what do you... Yes, I know you missed the actual challenge, but never mind. It was, do what you can when you can, and if you can't, don't worry too much about it. So, Shiny, would you like to read my correction of the same sentences? If you understand what I mean. If you scroll down and then read the same text that April just read, but with the corrections. Have you got it?
Yes, but I don't see your correction.
Okay, it might be. Okay, I'll post it up here for you. Okay, there you are. Can you see it in local chat?
Oh yes. Ah, I refreshed the page. Uh, no, please just post it on this chat box. It was summer and the sun was shining and we had the day off. So we went to the beach. There were a lot of people there, but we arrived early. So we were able to find a good place near the water and put our stuff there. What did we take with us? We had our swimming suits, a beach chair, diving goggles, a snorkel, a pair of flippers, and an inflatable bed for our water activities. We didn't forget our hat and our cap to protect our faces from the scorching sun. To protect our skin, we brought sun lotion too.
Yeah.
Inflatable.
Lit. Uh, Actually, when I was at school, I learned that you have to in if you make of you write a story, a text. Uh, I was advised to make every sentence short. So that's why I said it was summer. Point that period. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I am. You see? It's so. Okay, take with us. And I have actually a little bit. I'm not really happy with my sentence because I have always I need always to write hour. But is it necessary? I'm not sure. What did
Well,
you
yes. I
write in
mean,
the correction?
you could have written what did we take, but you've put what did we take with us. That's absolutely fine. Um, we we went. That's fine. We and then put our stuff there. I mean, how else would you say that? You need, when you've got stuff, you need to say who does the stuff belong to. So don't worry about that. It's fine.
Yeah, because I have the impression that I repeated too much. We didn't forget our hat and our cap.
Well,
Didn't
yeah,
forget
you
our
could write, if
face.
you wanted to write that, I mean, it's not wrong. If you wanted to write that more succinctly, shall we say, um, we didn't forget our hats. In fact, I'd say caps and hats to protect our faces from the scorching sun. Yeah. In fact, you could say, yeah, to protect our faces because it's caps and hats. To protect our skin, we brought sun lotion too. I'm not sure what else you could say there to protect our skin. Um, for skin protection, you could say, instead of to protect our skin. I'll put that in brackets, okay? So, for skin protection, we bought sun lotion too, okay? But sometimes you're forced to say our. No other word should do. Ah, shiny. That's very good question. And as an English teacher who used to teach out and about in Germany, I can assure you there are teaching books out there that have got so many mistakes in them. It's really difficult to know. The best thing is to use your judgment. If you find lots of mistakes in a book that you've bought, do what I did. I bought a maths book once and I found several mistakes in the first few pages, so I took it back and I got a full refund. And then I told my tutor that the book they'd recommended was full of mistakes. They had never noticed. And I'm no mathematician, so how they got away with it for so long, I'll never know. But yes, the publisher, I should say, not manufacturer, it's a book. The publisher did say it was an error, which is why I prefer online books. You tell them there's a mistake, they can fix it. The next time you open the book, the mistake has gone. Fantastic. I would say don't read badly written books, but how can you tell whether it's badly written or badly published, badly edited? You have to use your judgment or use recommendations from other people, okay? Yeah, I mean, it's it's very subjective. What's a good book? I mean, for one person, a good book is, I don't know, Pride and Prejudice, Oliver Twist, Shakespeare. I don't think they're particularly good for English learners. So to me, for an English learner, a good book would be something like I read um, the other week, which was a terrible book, really, but very good for learners because it was contemporary, it was modern. Um, It was just so fluffy. The storyline was ridiculous, but it had a beginning, a middle and an end with very simple English. So for learners, it was very good. I still regret the fact I wasted 2 days of my holiday reading it. I left it at the campsite, actually. It was that bad. I thought, this is perfect summer holiday reading material. Popped it on the shelf as a giveaway. How do you know? Well, that's where the internet comes in as well, Shiny. I mean, I've made recommendations for a long time on the English magazine, and there are recommendations of what I consider to be good books there, and what I consider to be good learning books and good course books as well. But you might disagree with me. Somebody might disagree with me. Some people don't like English in Use series, but I think it's fantastic. But ask. Go to, there are also reviews as well. There are reviews on Amazon. There are reviews on good books. There's plenty of material out there now. You're not on your own trying to find something. But make sure you find a book that you're interested in. That's one of the key things. And don't let people be snobby about it. Don't let them get you to read Kafka if you want to read, I don't know, Georgette Heyer. Oh my goodness, I'm dating myself there. No, don't ask me first. Go to a bookshop. Leaf through the books. Find a book where you like the writing that's presented to you. That's where bookshops sometimes beat online. But also trust the online reviews as much as you can, with the understanding that some authors review their own books. Okay, so April, let's carry on. If you could read what you wrote first, okay?
The next...
Yeah, I've just put it in local chat. I think it's easier.
Oh, okay. For the little one, we set up a small tent so he could sit and play there, out of the sun. We had also a shovel and a bucket with us, so he could collect starfish, seashells, and some mussels. He was also very happy with a sand castle that his dad built for him. I also brought a parasol, a pair of sunglasses, and a book. My sister rented a windbreak and a chaise lounge with a sunshade there because she wanted to sit out of the wind and out of the sun.
Very good. Okay.
I wasn't sure the last one, the mussels.
Yeah, you sort of stumbled there, didn't you?
Were there mussels?
Yeah, you can collect mussels on the beach, absolutely. You have to be very careful though, because if they're on the beach, they might be dead, and you don't want to eat. You don't want to cook mussels that are rancid and.
But what is in the picture, Lynn? The grey one.
Now I won't be able to tell you that, I don't think, because I can't look at the picture because I can't stream it. It's too much like publishing it, but I think so. I think you're right. There were sort of little. There might have been cockles, there might have been mussels, there might have been winkles, but I think they were mussels. Okay. So, I love the use of for the little one. That's very good. We set up a small tent. Yep. So he could. These. Have you seen these that you can buy? They look like tents. Are they tents? Would you sleep in one?
An igloo, maybe, Lynn? But I can't think that it's an igloo because I can't accept an igloo in.
They're not
the
igloos.
beach.
No.
It's too warm.
No. But because when you say tent, you might think of somewhere to sleep. Okay. Then we do put a word in front of them, an adjective. To describe what kind of tent. What word do you think we use suddenly as an adjective to describe the tent? Where are we sitting at the moment?
A beach tent.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, just a beach tent. Yes. So, for the little one, we set up a small beach tent. And that way you know it's... they've got a funny word for them, in fact, in Germany. They call them Muschel, which is like mussel, because they look like a shell, yeah? So he could sit and play there out of the sun, which is really important. Now, have you heard, guys, that they're trying to make it law? They're trying to pass a law that says if your child gets sunburnt, it's child neglect. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, of course, I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, even for your dog.
And do you think it's child abuse?
Yeah, actually, you don't do that. How do you say it, Lynn? Purposely.
On
But,
purpose. Or purposefully, but on purpose is better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, on purpose. But people nowadays, I don't know if the judge use that word, child abuse, but I think the media right to happy. The media is happy to write that kind of word, child abuse. Then it is more. Everybody will read that, I think.
It's
but
sort of
actually,
inflammatory language. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, that's the thing.
So did you ever get sunburnt as a child? Have you ever been sunburnt?
No, even now not. Oh, I have got one, but I was already an adult, and it was my fault, of course.
Yeah, as an adult, you can't really blame your mum.
It was in the mountain, and in the mountain you don't feel that, Lynn. It
Yeah.
is lovely sun, and the temperature is not so bad, and you just sit there and swimming and in the swimming pool. But it was not very high actually, and in the evening, then I felt that my nose is burning. Mm.
Did you look like Rudolph?
Yes.
Well, I can remember when I went to school, I got sunburnt a couple of times on sports days. I got sunstroke once, but nobody thought anything of it back then. What about you, Shiny? Did you ever get sunburnt as a child? Would you consider it child neglect or abuse if a parent lets their child get sunburnt? What do you think, Shiny?
No, I never get sunburn because my parents never took me to I mean outside of some places. Took me out. Uh, by the way, I can't swim, so I don't like to go
okay.
to yeah, I don't like to go to beach or a pool.
Okay, you've never learnt to swim. Well, if it's any consolation to you, I was about 21, 22 when I first learnt to swim. In fact, I started to canoe before I learnt to swim. So it's never too late. And if you were here at the moment, you'd wish you could swim because it is so hot. It's just such a nice way to cool down. Yes, you can get sunburnt in the garden or in the park. You can get sunburnt walking to the shops if you don't wear a hat. When the sun is this strong, it doesn't take long. But nowadays, I'm much more careful. I mean, I don't sunbathe. I stay in the shade. In fact, we should really bring you a parasol, April. Actually, no, April's okay. She's got her hat on. But I think, Shiny, you better have a parasol. We'll put you in the shade. There you go. so you don't get sunburnt. Okay, I don't want to be accused of student abuse, student neglect. Okay.
Just before I wrote my text, I read in the newspaper in America, was it teenage mother, uh, teenage, so she was alone. She has no friend or husband. She let her two daughters in the car for 18 hours, purposely, because she didn't like the children. She found that she was too young for the children, but the children were already 6 or 7 and 3, so I think something like that, with two in the car in it was in California, I think, and it was so hot. So the next day when she know it, and a friend warned her, and she said, no, I don't want to take my children. She waited until the next day. The next day the children were still alive, but but it was very sick. They were very sick, and in this hospital they died.
Oh, thanks for
Yeah.
that, April. That's so cheerful. Cheers.
I
I
always
hadn't
bring
heard
you
of that.
sad stories.
You read stories. I know you like stories. Oh, that's upsetting. That's awful. The poor kids. Oh, what? That's just terrible, isn't it? I mean, that's just soul destroying, isn't it? When you hear about things like that. Shiny, take the mic. Oh. Shiny, have you? Okay, go on.
Thank you. It happened every year here. I can read this news every year. So sad. And I, I'm not sure are we talking the same thing. I mean, they put children in their car and for letting them wait for their parents.
Yeah, that sounds similar, but this was done deliberately, Shiny, in order to get rid of the kids. So that's what it sounds like anyway.
Yeah,
Which is even worse. I mean, people
Yeah,
make
they-
accidents. You know, people do things accidentally or thoughtlessly. That's one thing. But are you saying they do it
No.
deliberately? Ugh.
They do it deliberately in some way. They just it's lousy for them to take children with them. I mean, for example, because like casino. I don't know how to say it in.
What, they want to
It-
go
it's-
out, so they leave the children alone, and they're not allowed to take the children into a casino
They
for
want to have
gambling,
fun
yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Ooh.
And they couldn't take the children with them, but they didn't have any place to, or people to take after them, so they just it's so irresponsible. I think they do know what will happen to their children, but they just know that they just didn't realize it would cause them to death.
Well, the next story you read about that, send it to April. She loves that kind of story. I mean, it's a really tough one. What can you say? It's not normal or natural not to look after your children. It's our nature to care for our offspring. So something's interrupted their natural instinct to protect and look after their children in some way. And yeah, Tough. It's a tough one. I wouldn't want to be the judge in that court case because, yeah, that would make me very angry. But you have to have some compassion for the people who do it. There's something wrong with them, basically. Okay, let's get back onto the more cheerful topic of at the beach. No abandoned babies. In fact, you're looking after the baby very well. The little one has got his own little beach tent.
But Lynn, what is the English word for a mother that has to be to stay alone?
A single
so
mother.
without a partner?
A single
Single
mother.
mother, yeah. That is,
Yeah.
you see, my English is deteriorates.
No, not at all. You can't remember everything. I forgot an English word yesterday, okay? I could only think of the German word, Umleitung. And I had to say to hubby, what's Umleitung in English? And he sort of thought about it and he went, diversion. I went, oh, that's it, yes. So it happens to even a native speaker. Don't worry about it. It doesn't mean your English is bad. It just means you've forgotten the word or you can't remember the word right there and then, okay? Now, I'm just doing some more corrections, okay. Let me see, so that Shiny can read the corrected version, okay. Okay. Oh yes, and yes. Okay, so Shiny, if you'd like to read the corrected version.
For the little one, we set up a small beach tent so he could sit and play there out of the sun. We also had a bucket and spade with us so he could collect starfish, seashells, and some mussels. He was very happy with the sand castle that his dad built for him. I also brought a parasol, a pair of sunglasses, and a book. My sister rented a windbreak and sun lounger with a sunshade because she wanted to sit out of the wind and out of the sun.
Very good, very good. A sun lounger. Ow sound. A sun lounger.
Sun lounger.
Yes. So have a look at the original, then have a look at the correction. And you can see I used beach tent. That makes it clear that it was one of these little half tents that are really for shade rather than for sleeping in. Although I think some people do take them down to the beach, and on very hot warm nights they will just sleep on the beach. So yeah, maybe. But if you notice I did change the next sentence. Can you spot the difference between what April wrote, what you wrote, April, and what I've corrected it to? And do you know why? Yes, spade. Yeah. What did I change it from?
Shovel.
Shovel. Yeah. Now the thing is, a shovel can be a spade and a spade can be a shovel. Okay. So if you look in front of you, April, I've put a shovel there, and it could be called a spade, a garden spade. But when you say shovel, you think of a coal shovel or something large and quite substantial. Okay. So when we don't say shovel and bucket, we say bucket and spade. And let me just bring it over because we've got a bucket and spade. For some reason, when we're talking about sand castles and digging in the sand and looking for shellfish, etc., unless you are a professional beachcomber, you wouldn't take a shovel with you. You would take what we call a bucket and spade. Much smaller, much more portable to take down to the beach with you. Okay?
But how can you make a Sandcastle with only a spade. It's too
No,
all
no, a
too.
bucket and
Yeah,
spade. If you have a look at the bucket and spade,
yeah,
yeah, in front of you, there's a blue. What's
and
happened
a
to the
red.
things? Yeah, blue bucket and a red spade, and that's a bucket and spade. So you basically, I don't know why my grommets have moved, but they have. Bear with me. They've changed. Let me just move them back. Yep, there and there. I'm just being fussy now, but I am fussy, as you know. There you go. So the shovel, yeah, it's huge. It's big. It's industrial shovel. You could dig concrete with that shovel, okay? But the bucket and spade, it's more of a toy. It's more for children. And you put the wet sand into the bucket and then you tip it out and shape it into a sandcastle, or you go into the rock pools and you see if you can find any shellfish and starfish and crabs. Okay?
But you can really dig the sand. Oh my goodness, with the spade, with this spade, I think.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, yeah, you need a shovel for any heavy work, but when you're going down, imagine if you're going down to the beach and you take that great big shovel with you. You might get into trouble as well for just destroying the beach. I mean, I'm not saying that professional mussel collectors don't take that thing with them, but not for a day at the beach with your family. You just wouldn't take a shovel. What are you going to do? Bury grandma? No. Hello, Reem. Hi, how are you? Oh, I don't know if Reem's got a voice, but you're not a beach goer. Well, I don't know, Shiny. There is something nice about being on the beach, and that it's. I don't like going to crowded beaches. I mean, this isn't my idea of a nice day at the beach because there's too many sun loungers and there's too many towels on the beach. There's too many people, basically. But if you go to a nice quiet beach, you find a shady spot and you just read a book or just listen to, you can listen to the sea, maybe the voices of people walking along the beach. There is something nice about it. But going down there just to sunbathe and fry yourself, no, I don't get that either. Okay, so, yeah, bucket and spade, not a shovel and a bucket, okay?
Okay.
Good. In fact, I can't resist it. I'm going to have to start building a sandcastle. That's the other thing you can do, Shiny. It's just lovely building sandcastles. You went to a private beach once, still not fun. Maybe it's the people you went with, Shiny. Normally when I go to the beach, I end up, I don't know, writing something in the sand very large, getting lots of things, doing some artwork in the sand because you know it's going to be temporary, building sandcastles, burying my husband. So only his feet are poking out and his head, of course. And reading. Now, I noticed earlier, Shiny, I think you said you can't read outside in the sun. You nearly blinded yourself. Is that right? Oh yeah, I tried to read a book on the beach, but it was impossible for me. The sun almost blinded me, is what you'd say. Almost blinded me. And I agree with you. It's really difficult to, it's really difficult to read in bright sunlight. And it's really difficult to use a laptop or a tablet in the sun. Why is it difficult to use a laptop or a tablet in the sun? Any ideas?
Is that a reflection, we call that, Lynn?
Yeah, reflection. I mean, on a white page, then the sun reflects back into your eyes, and then that's what can blind you. But it's not so much the reflection on a tablet or a laptop, it's more the glare. We'd call it a glare. Yeah? the screen, the glare on the screen makes it impossible. It just turns it into almost a mirror so that it does reflect. You know, you can see your face, but you can't read anything. It's terrible. If somebody could invent a polarized tablet where you could use it in full sunlight, I think that would be extra cool. Okay, so the next one that I changed was the chaise longue. Okay, you wouldn't take a chaise longue to the beach. Truly, you wouldn't.
What is oh, okay. That's like the sofa, you mean?
Exactly, yes. Oh, that's a chair. Hang on. Let me just delete that one. I'm just... Oh, okay. I'm just trying to see if I've got one that would be like a chaise longue, but maybe this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's more like a chaise longue here. So chaise longue is... Again, that's not really that much like a chaise longue. Difficult one. I don't know if I've got any in my... I'm sure I have. I'm sure I've got one somewhere. So bedroom... City, maybe this one. No, again... Sorry. No, I don't think I've got one, but you know it couldn't be a chaise longue.
That's for home then. In the living. Do you want to know, Rim, what we are doing? We are on the beach. Lynn is building sandcastle, and we have to read. We have to read the text from the vocabulary challenge 65. My text. You know, Lynn? Do you know Rim? Vocabulary challenge. Can you hear me, Rim? Okay.
Yes.
Ah, good,
So,
good.
hi, hi, April. Hi, Tiny. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so what we're doing is April's reading out the text she wrote, and then Shiny is reading out the corrected text. Okay, and then we're comparing the two.
Okay.
Okay, so we're nearly finished, but never mind. So we'll do a little shorter one this time, April. If you'd like to read this part of your text.
Okay. It was really beautiful weather there. The sky was blue with some clouds, and we saw a couple of swallows flying. When say that one swallow doesn't make a summer, but there were at least 4 swallows in the sky at that moment, so that day should be a summer day. That was for sure.
Very nicely written. Now, I'm going to go and have to check the actual text. Oh, this doesn't bode well for today's session later, you know. I've definitely got a frog in my throat. So bear with me a second. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, got it. Yeah, you've put 4 swallows. Now, are they likely to be swallows? Can you see the picture, Reem and Shiny? Do you think they're swallows? What do you think, guys?
I've never seen. I don't know. I don't know a lot about birds, Lynn. So I don't know.
Okay. You just realised that the seagulls are quiet. Exactly,
Okay.
Shiny. Definitely seagulls, April. Swallows are much smaller. Okay, and they tend to be more inland birds. I'm not saying you'd never see a swallow along the coast, but it would be more inland, maybe with the houses, because there's not much for them to eat out at sea. Or, I mean, some swallows do nest in cliffs, I believe. But no, the birds in the picture are definitely seagulls. And just for Shiny, I've brought Squawky Seagull in. Hang on, let me just change him so he can fly around. Where is he? Oh, I can't find his...
What color has a swallow then, Lynn?
They're more...
Also white?
No, they're more black and white. Okay. I don't know what's happening to this particular seagull. He might have to disappear. Shiny will be pleased. Ah, there he is. Okay, I can find it now. So let me just look him up here. They are just for Shiny, because I know she wants to hear him really.
It's not white, Lynn.
Well, okay. Swallows are black and white. Okay. Seagulls can come in all sorts of different colours because there are different types of seagull. There are grey gulls. There are then you've got terns, etc. So those particular seagulls are just white seagulls. Okay. Probably the common European seagull. I don't know. I'm not an ornithologist, by the way. Okay, so 4 not swallows.
Okay.
Okay, and then you wrote, so that day should be a summer day, that was for sure. Now, unfortunately, because they are actually seagulls, you can't use your nice saying. Because there is a saying, one swallow does not make a summer, but they're not swallows, so I'm afraid it's going to have to go. Okay, what might you be able to say about seagulls then? There were lots of seagulls there. What could you say about seagulls? Any ideas? So if you had to replace something about seagulls rather than about swallows, any ideas?
I don't know. Is there any saying about seagulls?
There's not a saying about them, no, not in relation to summer, but there are things you can read about seagulls in the press. What do you have to be careful of if there are seagulls about? What might seagulls do?
Cops?
Sorry?
No, that's not for that's not for seagulls. That's for the other birds.
What, you mean vultures?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
vultures.
I mean, yes, seagulls will probably eat any dead things they find, because they'll eat anything pretty much, seagulls, but no, not particularly related. No, they steal. Yeah, that's it. Not hijack it, Shiny, because you're never going to see it again. They'll steal your food. They will steal your ice cream. They'll steal your sandwiches. They are thieves. They will attack you for your fish and chips. If you want to check me on this, just Google Seagull Attack UK. Okay, and they're really cheeky little things. They've got no fear. Seagull attacks in the UK. Every year there are stories of people being attacked and mobbed by seagulls for their picnic, for their ice cream, etc. So maybe you could write. I'll leave that with you, April. If you want to correct it, then you can. If not, we'll just keep it with the so hang on. Okay, so let's give Shiny her correction to read out. In fact, Reem, you haven't read yet, so let's give you this to read out, Reem, okay?
Yes, it was very beautiful weather there. The sky was blue with some clouds, and we saw a couple of seagulls flying, and there were at least of them. It was a really summer's day. It was for sure.
Yep, it was a real summer's day, that was for sure. Now, I'm sorry, my mistake. It should have said... It should have said this. I cut and pasted the wrong bit. Okay. So try reading this, Reem. Okay.
Yeah. We saw a couple of swaggles. We saw a couple of swaggles flying around. There were at least 4 of them.
Okay, not swoggles. Seagulls.
Yeah, seagulls.
That's it.
Seagulls.
I guess a swoggle would be a cross between a swallow and a seagull, I guess. A swoggle. Seagulls, yeah. Excellent. Well read. Nicely read. Okay. Okay, so then April, if you'd like to read this bit.
Okay. We really enjoyed our day off, and we felt safe there because a lifeguard kept an eye on beachgoers the whole time, standing near his lifeguard tower, ready to help when somebody was in peril. It was also necessary to follow the instructions of the lifeguard. For example, you were not supposed to go into the water where a red flag was added, which meant that the sea there could be dangerous.
Very good.
And it happened here.
Oh, really?
This
Is this
early
going to be
summer
another
already.
cheerful story, April?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I won't tell them. I won't tell you then.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Sometimes I do think ignorance is bliss. Okay. So, Shiny, if you would like to read this next bit. Oh, let me put a line in so you know where we're up to. Okay, Shiny.
We really enjoyed our day off and we felt safe there because because a lifeguard was there keeping an eye on the beachgoers the whole time, standing near his lifeguard tower, ready to help if somebody got into trouble. It is important to follow the instructions of the lifeguard. For example, you were not supposed to go into the water because there was a red flag flying, which means that the sea there could be dangerous.
Very good. Well done. Nicely read. Okay, so let me put the lifeguard station up. Now, sometimes, yeah, you could say lifeguard tower or lifeguard station, yeah. And some beaches do actually have these people. And April's quite right. When there's a red flag flying, you don't go in the water. Okay, so nicely read, Shiny. Okay. Oh, sorry, 222. Okay. So, can you spot some of the corrections there?
The peril, you change that into trouble? In peril, into trouble.
Yes. Yeah. In peril. Oh, I think if you're in peril, you're in immediate, unforeseeable danger. Okay. There is a song for those in peril on the sea. And that's for people whose job it is to be on the sea. Most people get into trouble in the water because they're not expecting trouble. They're not. I mean, they are in peril, yes, but they say they got into difficulties. Sometimes you'll hear that, yeah, in case they get into difficulties or in case they get into trouble. Okay, any other questions? If you notice, I changed it from where a red flag was added. Okay, you put where a red flag was added. What verb did I use instead of added?
Oh, flying. I
Yes.
thought that flying.
Yeah, we fly the flag. Okay.
Oh, okay. And what do you call that? What is the word for the movement of that flag, Clint? By the wind? The flag
Oh,
moved?
good question. No, you wouldn't say the flag moved because it doesn't. It flaps. That's a good
flaps,
one.
yeah.
Waves. It waves. Yeah. Flutters. Yeah. The flags. It depends on the strength of the wind, really. So the flags were fluttering in the breeze. Yeah. Or the flag was waving. Okay. Flapping as well, like the wings of a bird flap. And it really depends on the movement of the flag and how strong the wind is. It's not one word, I'm afraid. That would be too easy, wouldn't it, if there was one word?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. But we often say the flags were waving in the wind. Okay. But yes, you wouldn't say the flag was added. You'd got your bucket and you added more sand to the bucket, or you were collecting seashells and you added more shells to the collection. Yeah, to add something to something else. But a flag has just been put there. Yeah, there was a flag flying. And you also put which meant that the sea there could be dangerous, but it doesn't. It means the sea could be dangerous because the flag has a special meaning. So it will always mean that if you see a red flag flying on a British beach or a European beach, I think it's universal now, don't go in the water. Strong currents or high tide, maybe with some rough weather, then it's dangerous there to swim. Okay?
Actually, at that moment, I was searching for a word that will say, so the lifeguard know that is dangerous there, so he comes there with the stick. No, not a stick. What is
It is a stick, but the
flag?
flagpole. We have a
It's
special word, the flagpole.
the flagpole,
Yeah.
and he put it there in the sun. What can I say?
Normally the
With
poles
this
would
word?
already be there. You just put, he raised the flag. He raised the red flag.
Okay. That
Okay.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Raised.
Because if this is a manned beach, a beach with a lifeguard, that flagpole will always be permanently there. And sometimes it will be on the lifeguard's hut. Yeah, it would always be on the lifeguard's hut. There isn't one flying here, so I guess it's safe for us to go in the water. Okay, so very nicely written. I'll just read the last sentence, which I've corrected because we've run out of time. And that was, before going home, we washed the sand off under an open-air shower. Yeah, there's no need to say we washed the sand off our skin or we washed the sand off our bodies. Yeah, we washed the sand off ourselves maybe, but it's just we washed. People will know you went under the shower and you washed off the sand. Okay, the worst part of going to the beach, Shiny, I know you don't like going to the beach, but the bit I hate about going to the beach is getting the sand out from between your toes. It's so painful. I have only bad memories of
me
that.
too.
Yes. I'm just trying to see if I can find a red flag, but I don't think I can. So we can warn people not to go in there, but I don't think I can. I've got world flags, but I haven't got a danger flag. I'll have to make one, I think. I've got a pirate flag. Way! There you go. We can have a pirate flag flying. The skull and crossbones. Okay, so on that, thank you very much for doing that, April, and taking part in the challenge. Don't forget, it's moved into the Vocabulary Challenge group now. It's got its own group. So if you do want to take part, then you'll need to join this group, which I think, Shiny and April, you've already done so, which is great. And as I say, no saying that we'll do that. We'll do this week's challenge next week. We might do a different challenge. I've got a different challenge in mind for next week, a previous challenge. So, but we'll get round to it at some point. Okay, any questions before I disappear? Don't forget we're in TGIF on Discord.
I just wonder why you put an possessions apostrophe with s after the summer in summer's day, Lynn. Can't you say just summer day without apostrophe s?
It was a nice summery day. Because it's a day belonging to the summer, so I'd usually put apostrophe s. It was a nice summer's day.
What did Cliff Richard sing then, Lynn? A summer day or summer's day?
I'm sorry?
Cliff Richard.
Yeah, that's summer holiday. That's summer holiday. Yeah, that's a holiday
without
in the summer.
apostrophe.
Yeah, but the day belongs to the summer. The holiday just is in the summer, but the day belongs in the summer. So it's a summer's day. You can have a summery day. I mean, I'm sure you could say summer day, but I can't think of a time I would say that. Yeah, would I say summer day or summer's day in any context? Maybe it's because I was brought up on Shakespeare, but I would always put Summer's Day for some reason. Um,
Or summertime?
Summertime is fine, but that's one word, yeah? Time in the summer. But the day belongs to the summer. Summer's Day. It might be just because I'm British. Maybe Americans say summer day, but it sounds funny to me. Even when you say it, it's just like, ooh, no, that's wrong. But I don't think it's particularly wrong. But I corrected it because it's British English. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome. Okay, take care then. I'll maybe see you in TGIF. If not, have a lovely weekend. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye,
Have a nice
Shiny.
weekend.
Bye,
Bye,
Lynn.
Lynn. Bye,
Bye,
Shiny.
April. On his way out that morning and forgotten to switch it off. But no, it had literally I'm not sure, the sprinkler that controls it at the sort of business end of the hose pipe had literally just popped right off. Just pop. So Shiny, what's the weather like where you are? Are you also suffering in the heat?
Not actually, because I live on the mountain, so I mean the temperature in the center of the city is very high, but because I live on the mountain, so the temperature is a little bit lower than.
Okay, so yeah, this is a problem with living in a city. Certainly, if you go to the city centre in Frankfurt, it's boiling. We're in the suburbs, so it's not that hot. Oscar was saying yesterday that at 10 o'clock at night in Madrid, it's 35 degrees. Can you imagine? That's just horrible, horrible temperatures. Are going down to the open air swimming pools and the lakes, and just to try, and it's the only way you can really cool off, because, well, unless you go into maybe university library or the museum where they've got air conditioning. I'm sure they're getting lots and lots of visitors at the museum because they've got brand new air conditioning system, so everybody will be paying to go there to cool down. Okay, so I hope you can see the picture in front of you. And that's just as a reminder of what the vocabulary challenge was for vocabulary challenge 65, in case you'd forgotten. Okay, do you remember it, April? Does it bring back memories?
The beach.
Yes.
About the beach.
That's right, yeah. And I loved the way you wrote your story, by the way. That you made it. It was a picture of you at the beach, and you had a day at the beach. Oh, bear with me 1 second. I'll be right back. Shiny, can you see the picture, Shiny?
Yes, I can see it now.
That's at night. Aww. But it's not as bad as it was today, as April said. It's not as hot. And at some point yesterday, it did actually have a little bit of rain, but not much. It was just a little shower. But you could hear the garden soaking it up, going... Okay, so...
No, we didn't have that rain. In small places, minimal places, there was a little rain, but not a lot. But here in my place, no, only dark clouds. And I think, okay, wait a minute, wait 15 minutes, because now it's only 5 o'clock. Wait until a 5:15, because I know my son will come home around that hour. Otherwise, but then the black the gray clouds went away, was blown away, I think. But it was windy yesterday. It was windy also. And then since then, no clouds anymore until now.
Yeah, I mean, it is very parched. The earth is very parched at the moment. And lots of people.
But yesterday I think, okay, I will skip the day and I will do that tomorrow. So today I will water my plant, whatever happens.
Well, normally,
but the rain,
yeah, when you say short of water, we need water. We call it a water shortage. Yeah.
okay, water shortage.
But often we call it a drought. And then we have a hose pipe ban. Normally, nobody says in the UK you can't water your plants. What they say is you can't switch your hose pipe on. And you weren't here in last night's session. I had a terrible occurrence this week. Not yesterday, the day before. I heard this funny noise actually in the sink. I thought I was hearing things. It was like something was gurgling in the sink, and I was like, what the heck? And rushing and whooshing, and I don't know, it was weird. So I stuck my head in the sink. I was trying to figure out what it was. I couldn't figure it out. So I thought, well, maybe it's something from the neighbours, because we're directly next to our neighbours. Anyhow, a little bit later, luckily not too much later, I went out. I can't remember why. I think it was to let Leica out or to bring some washing in. I don't know. And I suddenly realised under our carport was completely covered in water. I mean, it was like just... And then I noticed that the hose pipe was like swinging around with all this water squirting out of it. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So I had to rush in. I got soaked by this hose pipe and turned it off at the outside tap. And I could not figure out what had gone wrong. And it was only later we worked out that the heat had expanded the water in the hose pipe, that the end of the hose pipe had sort of burst off. And because the tap was on, the water just came straight out. So I hope I wouldn't get into trouble for that. It was an accident, but yeah, it was... Oh, I got so wet, guys. I was drenched. What do you mean, rats? No. It was cold water, yeah. But the heat had obviously expanded the water. Yeah. Yeah, but by the time all the water had squirted out, the hot water had gone.
Yeah, it come hot.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
it
mean
was just,
maybe there is a rat in the pipe.
Oh, a rat in the pipe. All right. Got you. No, I mean, I thought maybe hubby had watered... I mean, silly me. No way. I thought hubby might have watered the garden.